I believe so personally, and I also believe we are moving in this step-by-step manner with that aim.
Tonight, government sources are trying to play down the possibility of an imminent invasion of the Falklands, but speculation continues that with little sign of a diplomatic solution, the chances of a landing remain strong.
The Argentine patrol boats, which came under attack, had been spotted by a Sea King anti-submarine helicopter on a surface search operation. They fired at the helicopter. The pilot of another Sea King describes what happened when the Lynx attack helicopter was alerted.
The Lynx helicopter then closed the hostile contact and attacked with two Sea Skua missiles. Shortly afterwards, he reported 2 missiles hit. He then went inbound to investigate the damage he'd caused. He then reported that the contact had sunk. A second Lynx helicopter was tasked to look for survivors. Whilst he was looking, he was fired upon by another contact. He was given permission to attack that contact and did. He was then asked to look for survivors, but being short of fuel, he then returned to his ship.
The Foreign Secretary, Mr. Pym, told a news conference at the United Nations in New York that diplomatic efforts for a peaceful solution would go on. "We'll keep in touch," he said. But he flew back to London tonight without committing Britain to any specific peace plan. Our diplomatic correspondent Trevor MacDonald reports from New York.
The Foreign Secretary, Mr. Pym, was at the UN to see the President of the Security Council. After his meeting, I asked the Foreign Secretary whether he felt that escalating military action was going to force the Argentines to the negotiating table.
They are occupying that land unlawfully, and they ought to go. That's the way to bring peace back, and I think that the military action, which we hoped to avoid because we hoped that sense would prevail in Buenos Aires, that action, I hope, will cause them to change their minds. And all I can say is that in the case of the cruiser yesterday, that posed a serious threat to our forces, and so they took action. We had a helicopter that was attacked by 2 ships, and they received the appropriate response. So I hope that as a start, at any rate, the Argentines will respect that total exclusion zone, respect it, and we're there to protect what is British territory. And the choice is really theirs. We don't want to make any further attack on them or anything at the moment. We want them to withdraw.
My comment would be that that is a clear case of gunboat diplomacy that was widely practiced during the 19th century, mainly by the great imperial powers. And that is clearly intended to attain diplomatic victory through military force. There is always a link between diplomacy and actual.
A UN spokesman said this afternoon that the Secretary-General had postponed a trip to Africa and that all Security Council members were being briefed today about ideas for a settlement put to Britain and Argentina within the last 48 hours. Those ideas, Mr. Pym has said, he'll take back to London for consideration, but any progress on them in the near future is rather doubtful, because before leaving here, the Foreign Secretary said...